Hello guys, Picking around JC, and today I want to make a quick video on how to stop social anxiety. Matter of fact, I have 17 ways as to how to stop social anxiety. Why? Because you need them. It's a pain in the ass, right? You're outside, and if you've made it that far, you're outside, and you're always thinking whether or not someone's looking at you. You're always wondering, ooh, there's another one. There's another one. Okay, 18. Let me write that one down before I forget. Okay, so 18 ways of curing anxiety. You're outside and you're wondering why the heck people are looking at you. Okay? Are they judging you? Are they judging how you look? Are they judging what you're wearing? And then it makes you panic. Your adrenal glands or your endocrine system just kicks in and you start freaking out. Internally, your physical body is responding to your mental perception of your reality. You start getting sweaty, clammy, you start to shake, you start to become very, very paranoid, and you just want to go home. Those are coming close to the extreme cases. Extreme being that you just don't want to leave your house until eventually you don't. You just stay in. And you'd prefer to stay in. Matter of fact, you may even order your groceries online because you're afraid of going into a crowded supermarket. There are minor cases of social anxiety. For example, dancing in nightclubs. A lot of people don't want to dance because they're anxious. They wonder how they're going to be judged. Can they dance? So they'll find themselves standing up against a wall, or perhaps they'll go outside around the smoking area just to be outside where there is an open space away from, well, the majority of the public. Another minor case of social anxiety. When you're approaching the school gates every morning, you get anxious. Okay, maybe. How many people are outside this time? What clique, what group? How are they going to judge? What are they going to laugh at this time? Okay? And then you keep your head down and you run really fast until you get inside the school. Or perhaps you're anxious about if they're going to see your parents. Okay? Or the car that your parents drives. So you ask them to park further down the street before you go into the school. That's a minor case of social anxiety. And then you have anxieties towards the opposite sex. Okay? This is called approach anxiety. If you like a girl or you like a boy, you start to think about possible rejection, and that freaks you out. That gets you a bit anxious, right? And even if it's a little bit of those rejective thought forms within your mind, those ideas, those scenarios playing out within the inner dialogue. Maybe you're telling yourself that they're going to laugh at you. Maybe you're telling yourself they're not going to be attracted to you. Maybe you're telling yourself that they're going to turn away, and then you're going to be embarrassed in front of all of your friends. Even if it's a little bit, that's a minor case of social anxiety. So how do you get rid of all these nagging thoughts? And how do you get rid of all of these, well, scary, nightmarish probabilities? Those future events that you're foreseeing or that you're creating in by seeing. Paradox event, right? You think that somebody's going to think that you're weird. Then all of a sudden your body starts to shift. You start to carry yourself differently. You start to do this. You start to look away from them. You're avoiding eye contact like all the time. Then you come off as weird or creepy. It's like you know exactly how to act in order to be creepy or weird. And then that in turn makes you socially awkward. You become more anxious, and now you're validating your own belief that you should feel anxious in this environment because they're acting a certain way. But you need to understand something. They're responding to how you're acting. So if you have that belief that they're going to act all, well, afraid of you or anxious around you, they're going to judge you, and you honestly believe in those thoughts, then your psychology, the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, even the emotions you express are going to come out weird, creepy, freaky, uncomfortable. And no one's going to want to be around you because you're literally behaving in that manner in order to support the belief that everyone around you is out to get you, or that everyone around you is going to judge you. Okay, so here it is for you guys, 18 ways now of curing social anxiety. Most of these I actually did myself growing up with social anxiety, and there is another story as to how I got over social anxiety. I may make a separate video on that. It is kind of strange. I'm just going to put it out there because it's very funny how it happened, actually, how it got fixed. So I am looking at my laptop. Number one, what are you thinking about? Most people who have social anxiety will always think about the last time they were in a similar situation. And thus they start to look for the warning signs that maybe the same experience can happen again. The good news is not every experience is going to be exactly the same. And as long as you're able to point out the differentiating factors, maybe the place we're in now is more open. Maybe there's a different diverse ratio between sexes. There's more females than males or more males than females. If you're able to notice the slight differences, that will support the belief that it is most likely not going to happen again. So always be aware of your surroundings. Weigh them up. Okay, how different is this one compared to the last one? Because then you'll only be noticing the fact that it's very unlikely that you're going to be put in the same situation as you was in before. Okay, that goes into my second point. Second point, always disprove your beliefs. Like always, whenever you see something happening, whenever you feel like you're going to be anxious, maybe last time you was in a supermall, the friend you was with disappeared. That made you anxious. However, if you're in a supermall now and you're with more friends, notice the fact that if one of them disappears, who cares? You know, disprove your beliefs. Belief may be, well, what if my friend disappears again? We'll say, well, then what if she disappears? There's 3 more people here, right? And when you disprove your beliefs, that releases the stress and the tension within your body. You know, there are many other examples of disproving your belief. Maybe you smiled at a person on the street, an elderly person, right? And they looked at you badly, like they just frowned at you. And then you start to think, oh my God, what are they thinking? And then you start getting really anxious. Well, this time, disprove your beliefs. Go out and look at more people and see how many of them smile back at you. Okay? Even if you're out one day and you just get the thought in your head that if you look at somebody, they're going to frown at you. Say, okay, well, that's a different person. This is a different day. It's a Sunday. No one's working. Most people are going to be happy. What are the odds of them frowning at me? Then that part of you that tells you that story that they're going to frown at you will be like, I don't know. And then you look at them, and then you smile. And then they'll smile back, and that will only disprove the belief that, well, people are going to judge you or frown at you. And then you'll feel better. Number 3 is one that I used to deal with. Nobody cares about how you look, okay? Nobody does. I used to go through this phase where I used to try and make myself look good before I left the house because I was always anxious about how they're going to interpret, well, my decorum, how I dress. You know, how are they going to judge me based on how I look? Then I realized something. I cared about how I looked so much that I wasn't even thinking about how they looked. And then I realized something. Again, they all make a huge effort to look really good when they leave the house. So what are the odds of them noticing how I look when they're so caught up in how they look? As soon as I realized that, it clicked. Number 4 deals with the breath. Your breath controls your body. So if you feel yourself shallow breathing, that's because you're hyperventilating. You're getting panicky. You do that, you're going to lose oxygen to your brain. You're going to get dizzy, nauseous, and that does not help when you become anxious because now you're feeling off balance, you'll feel sick, and then it's just going to be a very, very bad time. Okay? So when you find yourself shallow breathing or panicking, you just breathe deeply, close your eyes, and then drop your shoulders and breathe out. And you'll feel so much better. You'll feel more calm, more relaxed. And if you need some privacy to do that, then you can always go to a quiet place, maybe a bathroom, so that nobody can see you, relax, and pull yourself together. Number 5 is a bit more courageous, okay? It kind of ties in with disproving your beliefs. However, now you're literally going out to disprove your beliefs. Or in other words, you're facing your fears. When you face your fears, that's usually the more advanced version of questioning yourself. Because now you're having fun. Now you're making a game out of it. And as you're having fun, you're actually changing. Your personality is changing and you're becoming better around people. Number 6, be your own badass. Oh yeah. A lot of people don't realize, but your fight or flight response is solely predicated upon how you view the world. If you're afraid of being judged, if you're afraid of being approached, if you're intimidated easily by bigger people, or even if they're smaller than you, then it's because you feel like you cannot take care of yourself. So when you be your own badass, what I'm actually saying there is learn some sort of martial arts. Okay? I learned taekwondo and kickboxing, and I also learned some pressure points within the body that can disable somebody very fast. Okay? When you know that you can take care of yourself, it doesn't matter what situation you're placed in, you'll know that you'll be able to literally kick their ass if need be. Now, obviously, you don't want to do that. You don't want to go out to start fights. But you do want to be able to protect yourself if the occasion ever arises. Now, you can try to diffuse the situation with your voice, okay? But people out here, they're not so well put together. Sometimes they'll explode and just blow up at you. And if you need to know how to put somebody in a certain hold to calm them down, or even if they're getting too violent, you need to knock them out in order to turn them off, then you need to understand the mechanics of the body, how to create speed, and how to, well, protect yourself. So be your own badass, like literally. Badass you. Badass hitter. Or like Bruce Lee says, you need to train so that when you need it, it's there. You know? Love that guy. Number 7, be patient and wait out your anxiety. Okay? If you're anxious enough in an anxious place, and you breathe, and you notice the fact that things aren't the same as they were before that made you anxious, that old circumstance, if you notice the fact that, your beliefs are actually wrong, you start disproving your beliefs, eventually, your anxiety will completely diminish. It may not happen in one go on one day. But here's the thing. Many situations made you anxious within the past. Okay? So you need many other situations that won't make you anxious within the present moment in order to outweigh those negative experiences. Only time's going to do that. So you need to trust that that's going to happen by looking at the fact that it's already happened before. You were never anxious as a child. That was something that you learnt. Okay? Flip the scales. Number 8. Know your exits, or in other words, know your open spaces. Know that, in this room it might be small, but if I go over there, there's a big field, or there's a big opening where there's less people. When you're aware of your exits, you'll always be more comfortable because you know exactly where to go if you panic or freak out, if things get too stressful, okay? Just knowing that they're there helps a lot. Number 10, psych yourself up, okay? The adrenaline surges through your body when you're freaking out. So, we want to utilize that adrenaline and change the logic behind as to why it is that you feel a certain way. So you psych yourself up. You'll see this a lot in rugby, okay? In order to combat that fear of losing or that fear of being hit, they start doing this and they start doing all that dancing stuff and they start sticking out their tongue, right? That is a perfect example of changing the way that you're viewing the physiology of your body, okay? That feeling of the adrenaline, switch it, turn it on its head. Use it to your benefit. Psych yourself up before you leave the house or before you do anything. Number 11. Statistics and also my personal experience supports the fact that when you go outside and just breathe, when you get away from electricity, when you get away from a lot of people and you just ground yourself, be that just laying on the grass or just standing in the middle of a forest, you'll feel so much more relaxed. And that is because the positive electrons are being drained from your physical body and going into the ground. There are a lot of negative electrons within the air, and as you breathe those in, it changes the way your body thinks. Literally, it releases tension out of the body. This is why a lot of people love to swim in lakes or oceans. It literally calms you down. Number 12. Focus on the bigger picture. Bigger picture being, you wouldn't have left your house if you didn't subconsciously know that you could deal with the amount of stress within your environment. When you come to that realization, that will give you permission to start changing how you're seeing things, to maybe seek out things within your environment which no longer support the fact that you need to be afraid. It's just setting up that foundation. Number 13, overcome your triggers. Triggers such as loud noises, the dark, crowded places. Here's one you can do for crowded places, okay? A lot of people get anxious when there's a bunch of strangers around them. You don't want to be next to sweaty strangers, okay? You can feel them thinking even. You can feel how anxious they are. And then it's like a kind of energetical soup. You get this a lot on trains. It's one of the reasons why I don't like jumping on trains, okay? Here's a way to get around it. If you've got a bunch of friends handy or a bunch of family members that you love, okay, ask them to help you out. Say, hey guys, I need to use your bodies for something. Everyone jump into a closet with me, okay? So when you jump into that tight space, whether it be a wardrobe or a tiny closet, you're surrounded by people you love. You don't actually mind being so cramped and being so close to their bodies at all. You can have a little conversation. The longer you're in there, the more you'll start to realize that you're actually okay with closed spaces. And if you're having that conversation with them, as the conversation progresses, your anxiety will diminish. Number 14, study how to deal with difficult people. Okay, now this kind of ties into learning how to be your own badass. That is how you diffuse situations. Now, if you want to verbally diffuse situations, you learn how to communicate to people more effectively. Use books, use audio tapes, use YouTube videos, use anything that you could use in order to help you better diffuse aggressive people and dysfunctional people. There is a book you can find by Malcolm Rockwood called Difficult People, available on Amazon. It is the top rated seller on that website, so you can buy that and give it a quick browse through. But if you actually go out and practice what you're learning, then you'll find that your communication skills in diffusing people are actually becoming greater, thus you'll become more competent in your ability to diffuse angry people. Competent meaning you've done it so many times within the past, you know that you can do it within the future, okay? So now you're more confident, you're not being hesitant when it comes to you thinking about the possible reality that maybe this person's going to become so aggressive, they're going to shout at you, then attack you. You're going to go into flight mode and run away or freak out, become anxious. Now it's like, okay, if this person becomes angry at me, I'm just going to diffuse them with my words because I'm like a Jedi, right? Number 15, practice being in control, even if it's with the little things, okay? The little things. For example, if you feel like you need to exit the room, then exit the room. If you feel like you don't want to stand so close next to a person because you're becoming anxious, then turn away a little bit. Okay, just little things. Anything that you can take control over, do those things so that you feel like you have more control of the situation. Number 16, let food be thy medicine. Or in other words, comfort food. You can prepare yourself before you leave to go into any anxious environment by just eating specific foods. This even helps if you're actually going on a date with somebody, you know? If you're eating, then they can't ask you any questions. So obviously, it gives you that time to really think about what you're going to say. Yeah? Not only that, but it gives you something to relate to, then you'll start smiling. The stress, the pressure will be released from your body because now you don't have to think about having a script of what you must say to this other person. Now you're just really relating over something that you're eating, and then the conversation will become more fluent, more organic. You may even go into the time where you ate that food before with your parents, and now you're talking about the beach, trips, family vacations, how you want to go on vacation. So food can really help you a lot, actually. Not only that, but when you eat specific foods, your body will release certain chemicals which make you feel great. Okay? Serotonin is one of them when you eat chocolate. Apparently you're not supposed to eat chocolate because it has caffeine in it, but I'm pretty sure you'll be fine. Whenever I've eaten chocolate, I've not been buzzed, and I don't even eat caffeine. So just make sure it's like organic and it's really nice. Not only that, but you can also eat fermented foods. Apparently fermented foods get rid of anxiety because it does something to the body. You might have to look more into that. I was just veering off into foods and the cures in that sense because I was going to make a separate video on it. I didn't think I'll even be mentioning it in this video. We're almost done. You can also drink ginger or eat it. Ginger relaxes the blood vessels within your body, which allows your muscles to relax. It allows oxygen and blood flow to be circulated in the body, thus making you more calm and less constricted and tight. That's one of my favorites. Number 17, cry a lot. Cry, yeah. Crying, yelping, yelling, screaming, punching, boxing bags, not people, or walls, you just hurt yourself. It relieves stress. It really does. It relieves anxiety. It relieves a lot of pent-up tension within the body. And like I said before, you need to change the way your body's responding to certain things. So if you create a new path of least resistance, that being release, then you won't automatically go into the tense mode. You go into the tense mode because it's easiest for your body to do, because it remembers that type of restriction. So, if you change the body so that it remembers more of a relaxed state, more of an outlet state, then you'll find your body becoming more relaxed as an outlet to your social anxiety. And number 18, last but no means the least, seek help. You're pretty much already there. I mean, if you're watching this video, then you're seeking out help. You can seek help with books, you can seek help with your friends and family. Make sure they're close friends and family because you don't want them laughing at you, you don't want them not taking it seriously enough. If you're afraid of that happening, then you may have to use some sort of conversational hypnosis, be that draw out in them moments where they feel anxious or upset, and then tell them of the issue that you're currently having. If you do that, they'll be more open to receiving what you're saying, thus they won't laugh or take it the wrong way. If you just come up to them when they're laughing already, or when they're joking around, and you say, hey, I've got this issue with anxiety, they'll just shrug it off. So you need to relate to them first, and that deals with preparing your stage, so to speak, preparing the conversation before you've even had it. Okay? You can go and seek out professional help when it comes to a psychologist, but honestly, they'll only give you information that they've learned within a book. They're book smart. They're not really experienced in having social anxiety themselves. Now, I'm not saying that all psychologists are like that. I'm just saying the majority of them are most likely like that because they've got PhDs and degrees in psychology. And that's what's fueling their sense of I'm able to help people when they are. But if you're more of a empathic social anxiety person or anxietist, okay, if that's a word, if you're more like that, then you can't really go to a person who's really logical and hard-headed. You can't tell them that I feel people around me and that's making me anxious because they're not going to be any help there. So then you'll need to seek out spiritual help, but you need to find the right person. You need to make sure that they've had social anxiety themselves, that they've gone over it by themselves, and that they can actually shift your awareness. They can understand you. They can understand what you're going through right now because they've been through it. Maybe they're also high-level empaths. You need to be able to get that other perspective in order to bridge the gap, which you otherwise wouldn't be able to bridge with logical people. So I'm Ryan JC, Ryan James Grubber. I hope this has helped you all. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more self-help videos like this. Or if you need any kind of coaching, then head on over to ryancropper.com where I have more advice on Skype consultations. And I'll speak to you all pretty soon. Take care. Peace.